and back with another vlog. And this was probably going to be a shorter vlog. I don't really have a lot to talk about compared to last time. But I think the most important thing I'm going to talk about tonight is the fact there might be an Aunt May movie. Now, for all the Spider-Man fans, I think everyone is just furious. Now, you think that's bad that she might be getting her own movie? It would be without Spider-Man. And, you know, I really hate Sony, I will be honest, because Michael has been with them since like the early 90s when he did his Dangerous album, up until Invincible. And if you notice, those albums weren't as successful because Sony didn't promote them properly as much as they could have. And Tommy Mottola, who at the time was the head of Sony, he, as Michael would say, was very, very devilish. Now, I don't think everyone knows the entire story, but he just might not be a nice guy, like Tom Snyder. Now, this is probably one of Sony's worst ideas it's probably one of the worst ideas I've ever put in my entire life. Because who was going to see an Aunt May movie, let alone without Spider-Man? The reason it's even happening in the first place is because it's based off of Spider-Man. I don't know if it's 100% true, because there's also a rumor going around that Sony is denying that this movie is happening. So I don't really know what to believe. I'm really hoping we can hear more at some point. And this also brings me to the fact that Sinister Six and Amazing Spider-Man 3 will be coming out. Sinister Six will come out in 2016, and Amazing Spider-Man 3 will come out in 2018. It was going to be 2017. When Sinister Six was announced, they had to push back the Amazing Spider-Man 3 for a year, so it's going to be in 2018. Now, will I see any of those movies? You know, I was only planning on seeing Sinister Six when I heard about it, and then I heard about this whole Amazing thing. So, I'm praying to God, I'm crossing my fingers that this movie does not happen. I would like to see Sinister Six, because growing up when I was a huge Spider-Man fan, I really liked the Sinister Six. Just the group, and, you know, because people made many different stories about it, so I read a lot of different comics about the Sinister Six. I really liked it. And, I know that Sinister Six is supposedly only going to have a short appearance of Spider-Man, so that's probably one flaw so far. Now, if I don't like the Sinister Six, I'm probably not going to see Amazing Spider-Man 3. Because for one thing, I hated Amazing Spider-Man 3. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I loved Spider-Man 3, and people will... I know many people will disagree, but I think it was the best Spider-Man movie of all time. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the worst. I've got to be honest. It was just an awful movie. I think if I had to pick a part I liked, it would probably be the last 15 minutes of the movie. So, like, the fight with the Green Goblin, up to the very end of the movie. That's probably when I think it's at least good. So, yeah, that's Spider-Man. Also today, it's November 14th, it's the 23rd anniversary of the Black or White music video. Now, this is a really popular music video for Michael. It aired on MTV, and, they aired the full version, the full 11-minute version, and it caused controversy, and that's because after the song ended, you know, there's maybe like 4 to 5 minutes of this, whole dance routine. And, you know, Michael morphs into a panther, then morphs back into himself. You see him, like, he's looking down, there's wind blowing at him, he's not moving at all, except for his clothes, just from the wind. And he starts dancing, but there's, you know, a lot of crotch grabs, and he's vandalizing cars and throwing things into windows. Now, the thing is, if you pay close attention to the video, he's throwing stuff for, like, images of bad stuff. So, like, there's graffiti that says KKK, and he throws something at it. So, the reason I don't think it's a bad thing, necessarily, is because he's showing that they were bad people. I see why people thought it was controversial, okay? I do get that. But I don't necessarily think it was as controversial as people have made it seem. And I really liked the music video. I thought it was an amazing dance routine. Today is also the 21st anniversary of when Michael and Pepsi ended their relationship. Now you think they would have ended it 30 years ago in 1984 when he burned his hair. But no, it actually in the early 90s, and I'm not gonna say it's hard to find the videos on YouTube, because it's not. But there were maybe a couple Pepsi commercials in the early 90s for his Dangerous album. Um, and yeah, those were pretty good ones too. One of them was to the music of Who Is It from Dangerous, and one was older Michael singing I'll Be There, and then you can see little Michael singing with him. And I really loved that Pepsi commercial, I really did. Today is also the 8th anniversary of when Michael broke many world records. He went to London to get his awards, and this included, this isn't all of them, but this is what he won that day. He was the youngest vocalist to top the US singles chart at 11 years old in the Jackson 5 Days. He was the first vocalist to enter the US single chart at #1 for You and I Alone. He also had an album that spent the most weeks at the top of the US album charts at 37 weeks for Thriller. He also had the most successful music video for Thriller. He was the first entertainer to earn more than $100 million in 1 year. He was the highest paid entertainer of all time, and that day he got an award for being the most successful entertainer of all time. So, you know, that was a pretty good day for Michael getting all those awards. So now the last thing I want to talk about really quickly is, if you guys ever saw my podcast with AZ Universe on his AZ Universe 2 channel, which is strictly for vlogs, we did a couple episodes of our own podcast, and I have no idea if we're ever going to do them again. It just depends on his schedule, because we go to the same school, we're best friends, obviously, but, you know, he spends a lot of time in his homework, and he gets really busy, so it's really difficult for us to have time to plan it, let alone film it. So, that's kind of why I'm starting to make more vlogs, just because I can't make a podcast with them. And we also, in our podcast, we wanted to do a question and answer at the end of each podcast. Of course, we can't possibly do that for the first one, because, you know, no one knew what was going on. I'm really hoping that we can start, me and you guys, we can start doing a Q&A, because I think it's a good way for me to be able to communicate with my subscribers easier, instead of just necessarily commenting. So, I really hope we can do this. So, you guys can comment a question on any video, really. In my next vlog, you know, in all my next vlogs, I'll keep answering questions. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, see you guys next time.